Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's only me again and we're out doing some more metal detecting. Have you ever driven past some fields, maybe on your way to work, on your way to the shops, or maybe when you're going to a metal detecting dig and looked at them and gone, I really wish I could get in those. I wonder what would be in them. They look really interesting. Well, I have. And today I'm actually in some of those fields. So I was on my way to another permission this morning and I thought, do you know what? I'm just gonna stop in and see if I can find out who owns these fields. Luck was on my side because the very first house I knocked on, he was the guy, the farmer that owned these fields. And I explained what I did. I said that obviously I want to detect and that I'll show you absolutely everything that comes out of the ground. And he was really nice, really accommodating. He showed me which of the fields were his and basically said, go for it. So there is so much history around here, I can't even begin to explain it. It's about a stone's throw away from a really old medieval bridge. There's a really old mill down there, and there's a whole medieval leat system that runs all around these fields, and there's civil war battles, all sorts. So guys, hopefully today is going to be an excellent video, so stay tuned if you want to see what I find. And that leads me to say, please subscribe if you do like the videos. They do take a lot of work. I thoroughly enjoy it, but every subscription that comes in means an absolute ton to me. And of course, if you want to support the channel and you want to help the channel grow, give me a thumbs up as well. That's enough talking. We've got a lot to dig in today. Let's crack on. I'll see you on the first hole. Okay, so we've come straight down onto our very first target in this field, probably about 15 foot away from the bag. So the fact we're getting targets already is really good, but it's coming in on the VDI at an absolutely solid 66, not wavering, quite a small isolated target. Could be a piece of lead, but let's give it a dig, guys, see how we get on. Okay, so we have our very first target, and it looks like a copper alloy. It's a very green copper alloy, which is a good sign because the greener it is, the longer it's been in the ground. But I don't think this has anything identifiable on it, guys. What it once was, I'm not 100% sure. Nope. Nothing really on there at all. If anybody out there knows what this might be and wants to help me out, then use the comment section below, because I always read the comments, guys, and I try to reply to every single one of you. And sometimes you guys really surprise me with your knowledge of what I pull out of the ground. It's just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But the first target, the 66 on the VDI, it looks like it's just a scrap piece of copper alloy, guys. Okay, so I've just had my very second target of the day. It was such a nice target, this one. It was 86, nice solid 86. Sounded quite sort of round and circular. And I have dug the hole, ignore the worm, and I have just seen this thing here poking out. This bit was on the underside. So let's just have a little look at this and see what it is, because it looks pretty cool. It looks like it's got almost like scales, like fish scales all over it. Can you see that? How cool. So it's definitely round, but my suspicions is this could be a button, because it would make a really nice decorative button, wouldn't it? And we're only going to know if we pull the mud off of the back and have a look And yeah, there we go, guys. There is the shank. Clear as day on the middle. Most certainly a button. But what a fascinating button. Maybe that was something to do with fishing. I mean, we're quite near to the river, very close to the medieval bridge, but huge button. Must have come off of an absolutely ginormous like jacket or overcoat or something, but really, really nice decoration on there. Chuffed with that, absolutely chuffed. What actually also came out of this hole is this clay pipe fragment as well. So when you're finding clay pipe and lots of like little blops and blips of iron, you're generally onto a pretty good site. So this is the second target. I think we're gonna have a good day today, guys, so keep watching the video. I'm pretty sure something good's gonna come out today. Let's push on. Okay, guys, third signal of the day, and I've gone and found my very first coin. And it's quite a nice one, I've got to be honest. Now, it's a George III. It looks like a George III halfpenny, but you've got to remember that most George III, George II, Williams, those sorts of things, they always come out of the ground totally toasted. So it's very rare to get one that you can actually see any detail on. However, this one is a little stunner. Now, you can clearly see the Britannia on the front there. Some of the patina's gone, and you can see the copper coming through on Britannia herself. But if you look at the other side, you can see just such a wonderful portrait of George III. And it looks like quite a late George III. So, wow. Do you know, I'm really chuffed with that. Honestly, I am, because, as I said, what it means to me is that everything in this field is going to be in relatively good condition, because there's been no fertilizers, no nitrates put in there. It's not been ploughed, it's not been disturbed. I mean, even the soil itself is this really dark color, which just means that it's super like, you know, good for growing. It's very natural. It's not, well, it's probably been disturbed quite a bit at some stage, but mainly by animals and in the top few inches. But yeah, what an absolutely wonderful George III coin. Totally impressed with that. Awesome. Just found a fork, guys. A nice old fork. Not a silver one, unfortunately, but it has got an initial on the handle, and it says H. So I don't know who H is, but he's adding to my crockery collection, that's for sure. So thank you very much, H. Nice fork. So guys, let's have a little talk about rabbits. Random, I know, right? But rabbits, some people either love them or they hate them. And I think that metal detectorists should definitely love them, because they do pretty much what we do. They dig holes in the ground. Obviously they don't have a metal detector, but they certainly dig lots and lots of holes, and they leave all the spoil on the top. Now, what I like to do when I'm metal detecting is look in the field, always look down on the ground, see if you can see bits of pot, clay pipe, anything that might resemble, you know, inhabitation. But the rabbits, what they'll do is they'll burrow under the ground, chuck everything out that they don't want, especially big items like pot, maybe sometimes even some metal items, and then just discard them on the top. So as I'm walking along this field, I'm actually looking at these rabbit hills, trying to see if there's anything in there that they might have dug from underneath the ground and just dumped on the top. And I've just spotted a nice little bit of pot in the top of this rabbit hill. come and have a look, see what you think. Okay, so you have to have a bit of a keen eye to spot it, but if you're always looking at the ground, it makes it far, far easier. But if you look here, in the top of this rabbit spoil heap, you'll see a piece of pot. Now, to me, this is quite interesting because it can tell you a lot about when people were in this field and what they were doing. Now, obviously this is like a red sort of earthenware type pot. But what's really interesting about this pot is if we clean it up, we can see that it's actually glazed on the inside. Now, what this actually means is that it's very likely that this is post 16th century. So this is either late 16th century, 17th century, maybe later into the 18th century. So it's very likely that this piece of pot is about 300 years old, and it might have come from a big old sort of cooking vessel or something like that. But guys, now I know people have been in here for a few hundred years, and it's definitely worth picking up little pieces like this and having a look. So we've just come a few paces on now, guys. Had a really nice signal, and I've dug it out, and I thought at first this was going to be like a sort of pocket watch or something like that, but I don't think it is. It actually looks like it's something off of maybe a tractor, something like that. I have seen these before, I just can't remember where I've seen them, but it certainly looks like a piece of old machinery. Maybe something to do with fuel distribution, oil distribution, something like that. You can see it's got this like pin on the top here. And I think it turned at one point, so it might have been threaded inside. So yeah, just a piece of junk really, guys. But what is quite interesting is next to it is another piece of pot. And this piece of pot is bright red. It's got no glazing on it at all this time, and no markings on it, so it's probably quite a modern piece of sort of terracotta style pot really. But yeah, interesting. The ground's certainly been used a lot here, and there's certainly been lots of activity. We've just got to find those hot spots which, you know, haven't been littered by a lot of modern rubbish, and where people have been in antiquity. So let's push on. Hopefully we'll find them. So I've just had another coin here, guys, and what a stunner it is. I honestly couldn't believe the age of this coin when it came out, because the detail, the patina, it's almost like it was kind of dropped, you know, a year ago, let alone however long this has been in the ground. So this is actually a 1 penny dated to Queen Victoria, and you can see the young Queen Victoria portrait on the back there, and the date on the front of this coin says 1873. But honestly, what absolutely stunning condition. And yeah, it's amazing to think that this has been in the ground for well over 100 years, well, about 150 years now, so pretty impressive, huh? quite a nice little target down here. It's coming in at 83, 82, 83. It's quite a small target, but it's definitely a digger, that one, isn't it? Let's give it a go, guys. Hopefully it's going to be another nice little coin or something like that, but let's dig it out. Okay, so it has come out of the ground now, so we've got to find it. It's definitely quite a small target, so it still very well could be a coin or something. Oh, here we go. Oh, well, it's not a coin. It actually looks like a buckle, a really decorative buckle, guys. Oh, wow. Okay, we need to have a look at this a bit closer together, but it looks pretty cool. Yeah, so guys, look, you can see this tiny little bit of decoration coming through on the side here. And you see this like arched profile, looks like a shoe buckle, right? So let's give it a clean off and see what it is. It looks pretty cool. So obviously I've got to be fairly careful, because if it is a buckle, it might have the pin intact, and we don't want to destroy the pin. We want to keep the pin where it is, but we want to try and clean it. So just got to be a little bit careful, guys. Oh, look, you can actually starting to see the pin come through on this side here. So I've got to somehow just poke this mud through either side of this absolutely stunning buckle. It is really a stunning buckle, guys. Honestly, look at that. Look at the decoration on it. What a lovely, lovely find. This is absolutely my find of the day so far. It's absolutely stunning. So, is this a shoe buckle? It's a very good question. So it's arched, which would suggest it's certainly a shoe buckle, but it's a very, very ornate shoe buckle, isn't it? Very ornate indeed. And that pin, oh, I love that pin. It's so crude. It's so, so crude. Wow, look at that. Oh, honestly, absolutely amazing. I love that. How old is this? I'm not really too sure. I mean, I don't know what it's made of. I don't know whether it's made of silver, because it certainly could be made of silver, or I don't know whether it's made of pewter, but I really don't think it's copper alloy, because it's almost immaculate condition. It's like it was just dropped off of the shoe yesterday. But what an absolutely stunning, stunning buckle. I rarely get excited about buckles. For obvious reasons, guys, they're just not the most exciting things in the world to find. But that, honestly, is probably one of the best buckles I've ever found. Amazing. So, so cool. Oh, hopefully I can get a date for this, and if I do, I shall pop it on the video. But wow, love that. Let's crack on and see what else is in this absolutely cool field. Okay, I've actually found something, and I know what it is. Hooray! I actually think I've gone and found a button. And I was waiting for the moment I found one of these in this field, because it's just the sort of field that's prime for buttons and buckles and sort of Georgian Victorian coins. But this button, it's quite a special little button. It was gold gilded at some stage, and you can see that it's got gold gilding on the front and the back, and there is some type of initial on this button, but I can't make out what those initials are. It looks like it's S and then a dot and then either a G or another S. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, guys. Not 100% sure, but it's a really nice little button. It's a very, very high possibility this is going to be some type of military button, and the SG, or if it is SG, is likely to be the symbols for the sort of military outfit, really. So it could be something guards or something like that. I'm pretty sure one of you out there is going to recognise this button and be able to help me out. So if you can, guys, please comment below, because I do like finding little bits of information like this out. But yeah, target in the field. It's just a really cool little button. So I was just checking that buttonhole, guys, and I noticed there was another target literally about 2 foot adjacent to that buttonhole. So I've dug it out. We've got to try and find it now. I think, did it come out? Not really too sure. Just make sure the pinpointer's on. That might be a good start. Here we go. So hopefully it's going to be another button, or definitely something associated with that button. Here we go. So it's not another button, but it is a coin. Although in contrast to all of the other coins that I've found in this field today, this coin literally is battered. It has no detail on it whatsoever. Yeah, it's probably a George III, I would suggest. Maybe pushing George II, but very likely it's a George III. But there we go, guys. Maybe that did get lost with the button. Who knows? Maybe it was in the same jacket or tunic. But pretty cool anyway. But there you go. Wanted to show you that one. Let's move on. So here's a little find that I haven't found in a very long time. I used to find absolutely loads of these, but for some reason I just haven't come across them recently. But the tides have turned, and I have just found a little thimble. Now, I don't think this is a tremendously old thimble, because it looks like it's kind of cast all in one piece. Generally, the older thimbles are, the more sort of pieces that they were made in. And you can tell with thimbles how old they are as well, because the pitted indentations get smaller and smaller and more intricate as they get, you know, sort of more modern. And the older ones, like the beehive examples, have got really, really large pits because they were all handmade from the cast. So this is a relatively modern one, and in fact I would probably say this is, you know, maybe early 20th century, something like that. But I haven't found one for ages, so I'm quite chuffed to find it. So yeah, a little thimble. How awesome, guys. I think I've had another shoe buckle, and it's so similar to that last one that I found with the intricate designs on. It's a very, very similar shape, very similar size. It's a slightly different way of it fastening to the shoe. It's got this kind of bracket underneath here, and it's nowhere near as intricate as that last one that I found. But I would say this is a very, very similar age for sure. So this could be post-Georgian, something like that. I can't imagine these are any older than that, really. But it's such a lovely little piece for sure. So what's quite interesting about these shoe buckles is that if you imagine the type of shoe that this went on, if the person that had lost this buckle from his shoe, he just would have been so annoyed because his shoe effectively would have been useless. It would have just kept slipping on and off. It would have had no tension on the bridge of your foot at all. So I can imagine he was pretty annoyed when he lost this, to be fair. And it seems like they were losing quite a few in this field as well. It's a good sign. If people are losing things like this, they're also losing coins and jewellery and things like that as well. So got to persist on with this one, guys. But another shoe buckle, really, really chuffed with that. Awesome. So this is coming in at around 80 to 81, guys. It's just kind of right underneath the canopy of this huge tree here, so you never know, somebody could be taking shelter from the rain, dropped a few nice coins from their pocket. Let's give it a go, shall we? So I've just had another target down here, cleaned it up. Wasn't really too sure what it was because it just looked like junk to me. But this target has led to a revelation, because it also had one of these like screw things, which I found a little bit earlier on in the video. The only difference is this one had some writing on the top, and it says Cosmos and Brenner. So I did what any suspecting metal detectorist would do and Googled it, and it said that this is from an oil lamp. So that means the other bit that I found earlier on in the video must also be from an oil lamp, and that's pretty cool, because this could be, what, 100 years old? Why people were in here with oil lamps, I'm not really too sure, but it could obviously also be a bit of a dumping ground. But they're pretty cool things, they're quite intricate, and now I know what they are. So if I ever find one of these again, which I have done in the past and not really known what they were for, I'll know next time that they're actually from oil lamps. So there we are, guys. Not the best find in the world, but has opened up a little bit of knowledge there, and hopefully I'll be able to identify them in the future. Oh, okay guys, so there we are. We are now at the end of our day's metal detecting in the surprise field that I never had, you know, any dreams of ever coming into, but I just saw it every time I used to go to work, and I used to see these fields, and they just look so appealing. I'm so glad I actually finally got a chance to come in and give them a go. So we've had some pretty nice bits today, haven't we? I'd say the buckle was definitely the highlight of the day. A lot of stuff around the sort of 1700s era, something like that, which actually ties in with the mill house that's here now. Well, that one was actually built in the mid 1700s. So there's obviously quite a lot of activity around here around that time. And I think that there could potentially be something older, but the grass obviously is a little bit long, isn't it? So maybe we'll come back when it's cut down and give it another go then. But guys, that's it now for today. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you have enjoyed today's video, then please don't forget to subscribe. I don't blame you if you don't want to, but if you've watched this far, you might as well. And guys, if you want to support the channel and help it grow, do drop a thumbs up as well. That means a lot. I'm on my way home now. Thank you all again. See you on the next video.